Good evening, and welcome to Election Night in America 2020. Tonight, we'll be covering the United States Senate elections between the Democrats and the Republicans who are fighting to take control of the United States Senate. The GOP currently has a 53-47 majority in the Senate, which means that the Democrats must flip at least 3 Senate seats to retake control of the Senate. It is currently 7 p.m. Eastern Time, and we have 5 Senate races to call out of the states of Georgia, the Georgia special election, Kentucky, South Carolina, and Virginia. And out of the state of Virginia, we can now call that Mark Warner will win his re-election in the state of Virginia, defeating his Republican challenger. And in the state of Georgia, it is too early to call. David Perdue, however, is leading over his Democratic challenger, Jon Ossoff, with little over a quarter of the votes in. David Perdue, the Republican incumbent, leads over Jon Ossoff. And in the Georgia special election, Kelly Loeffler, the incumbent, is trailing Matt Lieberman, who is still expected to lose. However, he is currently leading over Kelly Loeffler with 36% of the votes in. The Georgia special election is currently too early to call. And in the state of Kentucky, Mitch McConnell, the Senate Majority Leader, must defend his seat against Democratic challenger Amy McGrath, who is actually performing very well against the Senate Majority Leader with over 2/3 of the votes in. Kentucky is currently too close to call. And out of the state of South Carolina, Jamie Harrison, although out fundraising Lindsey Graham does lead over his Democratic challenger by around 7 points in the state of South Carolina. With 61% of the votes in, Lindsey Graham leads over Jamie Harrison. And looking at our balance of power map here, the Democrats currently control 36 seats in the United States Senate, and the Republicans are controlling 30. It is now 7:30 p.m. Eastern Time, and we have 2 Senate races to call in the states of North Carolina and West Virginia. Out of the state of West Virginia, Shelley Moore Capito will win another 6 years, serving the state of West Virginia in the United States Senate. However, in the state of North Carolina, it's currently too close to call. Cal Cunningham, the Democratic challenger, does lead over Republican incumbent Thom Tillis with 78% of the votes in. North Carolina is currently too close to call. Looking at our map now, the Democrats still have 36 seats, while the Republicans have moved up to controlling 31. It's now 8 p.m. Eastern Time, and we have 11 Senate races up for grabs out of the states of Alabama, Delaware, Illinois, Maine, Massachusetts, Mississippi, New Hampshire, New Jersey, Oklahoma, Rhode Island, and Tennessee. Out of the state of Delaware, Chris Coons, the incumbent, is expected to win another 6 years out of the state of Delaware. And in the state of Illinois, incumbent Dick Durbin is expected to win his Senate seat once again out of the state of Illinois. And in the state of Massachusetts, very interesting race here. Joe Kennedy III will win his first term as a United States Senator, serving the state of Massachusetts. He did defeat incumbent Ed Markey in the Democratic primary for the Massachusetts Senate race, and he now joins Elizabeth Warren as the 2 senators from Massachusetts. And in the state of New Hampshire, Jeanne Shaheen is the projected winner. Typically, this would be a pretty contested race. However, with no serious Republican challengers, Jeanne Shaheen easily wins re-election in the state of New Hampshire. In the state of New Jersey, Cory Booker, who ran for president in 2020, the incumbent, he is now projected to continue to serve the state of New Jersey in the United States Senate, winning another 6 years. And in the state of Rhode Island, Jack Reed, the incumbent, is also expected to win his re-election in the state of Rhode Island. And we can now call that David Perdue will carry the state of Georgia as the incumbent. He is now the projected winner out of the Georgia Senate race. And in the Georgia special election, Kelly Loeffler will actually continue to serve the state of Georgia as a United States Senator, winning her first 6 years in the state of Georgia. And out of the state of Kentucky, we can also now call that Mitch McConnell, the Senate Majority Leader, will win his seat. He actually won the state by over 8%, however it was looking very close just an hour ago. However, Mitch McConnell is the projected winner out of the Kentucky Senate race. And in the Mississippi Senate race, Cindy HYDE-SMITH, the incumbent, is the projected winner, and she will win her first 6 years in the United States Senate. And out of the state of Oklahoma, Jim Inhofe, the incumbent, will win another 6 years in the Senate. And also in the state of South Carolina, we can project that Lindsey Graham will carry the state of South Carolina for the Republicans once again, winning another 6 years in the United States Senate. And out of the state of Tennessee, Bill Hagerty will win his first term as a senator out of the state of Tennessee. And in the state of Alabama, it's currently too early to call. Democratic incumbent Doug Jones is the most vulnerable senator for the Democrats, and he is currently trailing under Tommy Tuberville, who has 50.2% of the vote with 29% of the votes in Alabama, is currently too early to call. And out of the state of Maine, it's currently too close to call. Sarah Gideon, the Democratic challenger, is leading over Republican incumbent Susan Collins with 58% of the votes in. And looking at our map now, the Democrats now control 42 seats and the Republicans with 38. It is now 8:30 p.m. Eastern Time, and we have one Senate race to call from the state of Arkansas. Out of the state of Arkansas, Tom Cotton will win his re-election, serving the state of Arkansas for another 6 years. Looking at our balance of power now, the Democrats still control 42 seats, and the Republicans have moved up to controlling 39. It is now 8 p.m. Eastern Time, and we have 11 Senate races to call out of the states of Arizona, Colorado, Kansas, Louisiana, Michigan, Minnesota, Nebraska, New Mexico, South Dakota, Texas, and Wyoming. Out of the state of Michigan, the incumbent Gary Peters is expected to win another 6 years, serving the state of Michigan. And in the state of Minnesota, incumbent Tina Smith is also expected to carry the state of Minnesota for the Democrats. And in the state of New Mexico, we do have a new senator out of this state. Ben Ray Lujan wins his first 6 years in the Senate. And in the state of North Carolina, Cal Cunningham defeats Republican incumbent Tom Tillis in the North Carolina Senate race. We can now project that Cal Cunningham will win his first 6 years in the United States Senate. And in the state of Alabama, Tommy Tuberville will defeat Democratic incumbent Doug Jones, the first flip of the night. The state of Alabama will go to the Republicans. As well as that, the state of Kansas will also go to the Republicans, with KRIS KOBACH winning his first 6 years in the state of Kansas. And in the state of Louisiana will also go to the GOP. He is the incumbent. Bill Cassidy will win in another 6 years for the state of Louisiana. And in the state of Nebraska, incumbent Ben Sasse will continue to serve the state of Nebraska in the United States Senate. And out of the state of South Dakota, incumbent Mike Browns will also win his re-election in the state of South Dakota. In the state of Wyoming, Cynthia Lummis will win her first 6 years as a United States Senator, serving the state of Wyoming. And in the state of Arizona, it's currently too early to call, with 24% of the votes in. Mark Kelly, the Democratic challenger, does have a significant lead over Republican incumbent Martha McSally. And in the Colorado Senate race, also too close to call, John Hickenlooper, the Democratic challenger, with 50% of the vote, leading over Republican incumbent Cory Gardner with just 45%, with over 2/3 of the votes having been counted. And in the state of Texas, it's currently too early to call. MJ Hecker does trail over Republican incumbent Don Cornyn, who has been serving as the Texas senator for over 20 years. With 36% of the votes in Texas, it is currently too early to call, while Don Cornyn does have a significant lead. And looking at the balance of power map, the Democrats have 46 seats, and the Republicans have 45. It's now 10 p.m. Eastern Time, and we have 2 Senate races to call out of the states of Iowa and Montana. However, before that, we can now project that the state of Arizona will go to Mark Kelly. Mark Kelly, the former astronaut, will win his first 6 years in the United States Senate. And in the state of Colorado, the second flip for the Democrats of the night, John Hickenlooper will carry the state of Colorado for the Democratic Party. The former governor will serve his first 6 years in the state of Colorado. And in the state of Iowa, Theresa Greenfield, too close to call. Theresa Greenfield, the Democratic challenger, is trailing behind Republican incumbent Joni Ernst with 56% of the votes in. And out of the state of Montana, Steve Bullock actually is leading over Steve Daines, very close race in the state of Montana, too close to call. The former governor Steve Bullock does lead over Steve Daines with a little less than half of the votes in. Looking at our map here, now the Democrats control 48 seats, and the Republicans control 45. It is now 11 p.m. Eastern Time, and we have 2 Senate races to call out of the states of Idaho and Oregon. However, before that, we can now call the state of Oregon will go to Jeff Merkley, the Democratic incumbent, and the state of Idaho will go to Jim Risch, the Republican incumbent. We can also call the state of Texas for Republican incumbent John Cornyn. He will win another 6 years in the United States Senate. And looking at our map here now, the Democrats now control 49 Senate seats, and the Republicans control 47. The Democrats are now 1 seat away from having 50 seats in the United States Senate. It's now 11 p.m. Eastern Time, and we have 2 state calls out of the states of Iowa and Kansas. And out of the state of Iowa, we can now project that Theresa Greenfield will win her first 6 years in the state of Iowa, defeating Republican incumbent Joni Ernst in the Iowa Senate race. as well as that we can also project that the state of Maine will go to Sarah Gideon. Sarah Gideon is the projected winner out of the state of Maine, defeating Susan Collins, who has been serving the country for over 20 years in the state of Maine. Looking at the balance of power here now, the Democrats now control 51 Senate seats to 47 for the Republicans, which means that the Democrats now control the United States Senate. Chuck Schumer will now become the Senate Majority Leader, and the Democrats will now control both the House of Representatives and the United States Senate. It's now 1 a.m. Eastern Time, and we have one Senate race to call out of the state of Texas, and out of the state of Alaska, and out of the state of Alaska, Independent Al Gross is trailing Dan Sullivan with 39% of the votes in, and we are expected to see a result in this state in around an hour. And after this, the Democrats still control 51 seats and the Republicans with 47. It is now 1:30 a.m. Eastern Time. We have two state calls out of the states of Alaska and Montana. Out of the state of Montana, Steve Bullock, in a very narrow race, will become the next senator from the state of Montana, defeating Steve Daines and another Senate seat for the Democrats. And out of the state of Alaska, Dan Sullivan will defend his seat in the United States Senate. The incumbent will win another 6 years serving the state of Alaska. Looking at our balance of power map here now, the Democrats control 52 seats, the Republicans with 48, which means that the Democrats have now flipped the United States Senate in their favor. So I'd like to thank you for watching this video. If you enjoyed it, please consider leaving a like as well as subscribing to my channel. I would really appreciate that, and I will see you in the next video.